original Frankenstein and was resurrected for the bride of Frankenstein. She was the only person who came to this production from the original Broadway play. She played the same character on Broadway. And has a very distinctive voice and bird-like sort of affectations as far as the acting is concerned. The other fellow that I would, and I'll call him a man, Ian Wolfe, who played Carter, the clerk and office manager for Sir Wilfrid. If you check him on the IMDb, you will find that Mr. Wolfe has over 300 acting credits to his resume. Incredible amount of movies and TV shows that he made appearances in. The one that sticks in my mind out of the 300 is that if you've ever seen the James Dean movie Rebel Without a Cause, and you see the sequence that takes place in the planetarium, the man who's running the gadgetry that's putting the star show up in the air is Ian Wolfe, playing Dr. Minton in Rebel Without a Cause. Pretty incredible career. And lastly, the only thing I want to mention is the fate of Tyrone Power. I did tell you that part of the deal that got him involved with witness for the prosecution was also a carrot extended that he would be Solomon in Solomon and Sheba a year or two after this was finished filming. And during the course of filming Solomon and Sheba, in fact, they were about two-thirds of the way through the film, he was involved in a sequence where he was sword fighting with co-star George Saunders, and he has a heart attack and is taken off set and proceeds, in one account, to die off set, and is walked by members of the crew to a car so that the people on set would not have realized that he had died, put in the car, taken to the hospital where he was officially declared dead at age 44 is how old Tyrone Power was when he died. He had a almost 50 film career which started in the mid-30s and ended that day in 1957, if I'm remembering correctly.
So was all that sweating real?
The question,
Comment.
Jenny asked the question, was all the sweating that he had in this movie real? I don't know. I don't think if they really felt that Power was in some sort of physical jeopardy, they would have allowed him to appear in the other film. But so this, in essence, was the last completed film of Tyrone Power. How did they resolve the fact that he had died? Well, there's quite a few stories that imply that they were going to just scrap the entire project and get the insurance money from the company that had insured the production for completion. And or they were going to rewrite the story so that there would be a young Solomon and an older Solomon. I don't know if they were shooting the movie from beginning to end. That usually isn't the case. They usually skip around and things that occur in the end, maybe the first things that get shot actually on film. But they ended up that they were going to reshoot all of Tyrone Power's scenes in Solomon and Sheba. And the fellow who got the job was a man by the name of Yul Brynner. Yul Brynner appeared beside Gina Lollobrigida and George Saunders in the finished product of Solomon and Sheba. But at any rate, well, I want to thank you for doing this afternoon. Anything else that you'd like to add?
No, just wanted to see if there were any other comments. And, yeah.
Judge Delker, I was wondering if you could talk about the considerations for the waiver of conflict of interest. Indeed, it represented the wife of his former client.
Yeah, that's a great question. I actually picked up on that at the end. I'm glad you know, it's interesting. So he would not have been able to represent Christine Helm or Vol, whatever she goes by, in that situation for a whole host of reasons. A lawyer cannot represent someone, they cannot represent someone if a former client's interest in the same matter, which this really was, in which you had represented the client previously. The other problem is that he likely, and certainly we saw scenes of this, got a lot of confidential information about their relationship and the history from his former client that he would then be in a position to use against Christine or rather the other way around, that he could use against his client. And that privilege survives death. So in other words, the attorney-client privilege in that context, the fact that Mr. Vol died in the movie, was murdered, wouldn't obliterate that conflict because there still is a privilege between the former client and the attorney that survives death. So there's no way to get a waiver in that situation, I think. It was a nice dramatic twist at the end, but I think that was fairly unrealistic.
Your Honor, wouldn't he have also been barred from representing her because she confessed to him that she covered up the murder?
Well, that's a different question. I guess, at that point they didn't have an attorney-client relationship. He's a witness. He becomes a witness. Because they hadn't yet established an attorney-client relationship. You're right. The prosecution could have put him on the witness list, which would have conflicted him out. Had she confessed to him after their attorney, the attorney-client relationship started, then that's privileged, and that wouldn't make him a witness. But in this situation, he witnessed the murder, so he's got a problem on a whole host of levels. Any other questions? Great. Well, thank you very much for having us. It was a great movie.
And again, I'll be back in about a month with a Alfred Hitchcock movie that I have seen called Vertigo. Thanks for coming, folks. I hope you enjoyed yourselves.